starting. Welcome to Something Out There with Alan Steinfeld of New Realities and Val Tignini of where you say you're from, Val?
Well, I'm in New Jersey. Where are you?
Mm-hmm. So this is a series that we've started to talk about contact, consciousness, how we're evolving on this planet as a new race of beings. And we did one about a week ago that's gotten a lot of traffic. And now this is part two. And what's the theme for today, Val? What do you want to talk about?
Today I want to talk about how humans are actually ETs and how our gifts are coming through more and more.
So when you say humans are ETs, what do you mean by that? I have my own ideas. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, this started about, I want to say, 150,000 years ago. But
right.
I think that ETs have come here many times over, and they've played with the human, or I should say, Earthling DNA. And so we've been a transformed kind of species throughout the years, and then they kind of say, okay, I think we got it. And so we are like a culmination of ET race that is mostly Syrian, but it really doesn't matter where we're coming from, because so many races have come here and infiltrated through contact with humans, and we've been downloaded with information through our DNA, and we now are starting to see so many people with these superhuman gifts.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I'll just add to the fact that we're all ETs is our genetics, from what I've read and what seems to be the situation, has been upgraded from the evolving primates on the planet. And some people say, if you look at the books like Zachariah Sitchin and the 12th Planet, is that our genetics have been downloaded with ET DNA to make us a hybrid of the evolving Earth beings and whatever came from out there, to make us more than human, more than the animals that are living on the planet. So we are animals. We have an animal body, but our consciousness is one of, let's say, the gods. Yes. The gods in a not a religious term, but I'm just saying the evolutionary part of us is divine. So we're this mix of these two species. So the part of us that is, let's say, ET, is the part that's been genetically upgraded. That's how I see it.
Yes. I've been told that the original humanoids, or Earthlings, I should say, had one strand of the double helix in the DNA, and then the ET race introduced the double helix, which kind of spirals around the other strands.
Maybe. I don't know about I'm not a cellular biologist, so I can't talk in terms of DNA and spiral, but I do know that we seem to be evolving on a vibrational level. The frequencies of our bodies are being upgraded to higher versions of thought. So we are becoming different people. We're evolving into new creatures. We're opening up new parts of our brain that will let in, let's say, ET consciousness to start to change our thoughts. That's how I see it, Val. Is that? Are you getting a shift?
That's what it is.
Yes.
But we're also, it also changed the way we look as well.
Look in sense of what? Change the way.
Well, not in most recent time, but like 150,000 years ago, we were morphing, we were evolving.
Oh, you mean going from Neanderthal, hairy Neanderthals to more? Mm-hmm. That's a good point, right? The change in genetics changed our bodies. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I feel like we are changing. I feel like a lot of us that are purifying our bodies are becoming, our heads are becoming more cone shaped. our eyes are becoming clearer. We're morphing.
Well, you definitely look more like an ET, I have to say, than whenever I first met you. Your face, I can see your face has changed.
It has, and it happens to a lot of people. And it's just the process of purification of the DNA.
I missed some of that, but
so it's the process of the purification of the DNA.
Yeah, and I think what's really changing, I think the DNA is a reflection of the consciousness that's coming into our minds as more possibilities, greater thought, greater imagination, new inventions, new creative actions. Creativity in general is a way to opening up a greater part of our minds. The new thoughts are changing our bodies and changing the way we think, because I think how we think is reflected in how we feel, how we look, how we seem. Actually, I'm a little tired today, so that might be a reflection of my thoughts.
You're in California right now, aren't you?
I just got out, for people who were here or not here, from the Conscious Life Expo in LA, which was a really great, beautiful event. A lot of people putting together what we're talking about here in a new form, making it more of a cultural statement, less fringe, more of a common language when we talk about frequencies and vibrations and downloads and DNA shifting. I mean, it's kind of jargon in a way if you're outside that realm, but if you're inside, then you know what people mean. I also say I'm giving a talk tonight with Stephen Bassett at the Rama Institute in Venice, 316 Lincoln Boulevard, which I'll be talking about more of this upgraded consciousness and what it means to really make contact, because contact is an internal experience. It's how we start to think differently, which I know happened to you, Val, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when you have this awakening, when your consciousness is expanded, then all of a sudden you don't relate to just this physical reality. And you're traveling through dimensional realities, and you realize that it's not. It doesn't end here.
Right, you're traveling through dimensions, and you start to get ideas. This is what's been called downloads, new thoughts, like new sensations, almost new a feeling of picking up on other people's energies, or like a song may come into your head, and when that happens, you have to write it down, because it's coming from your own creativity, but it's also coming from the source of creation, wherever we're starting to become connected to. Yeah. So, can you share some of your downloaded experiences?
Sure. I mean, sometimes it comes through images, and sometimes, like you say, it comes through a voice or a song. But the thing is that when you receive a download, you feel a vibrational shift inside of you, and it's like a stillness, almost like you're not in the present place. You feel like you're not there. You're somewhere else, and yet you're still there. You can see everything around you clearly, or sometimes not. Sometimes people have blurred visions.
Yeah.
And all, everyone has a different experience, but the point is that you have to trust what comes in, and not make it something that is that's somewhat delusional.
Yeah. Well, you're saying, let's say that last part again. I missed that.
Because sometimes people think that it's delusional, but you have to trust.
Right. The other part is, for me, that when information, or let's call it inspiration, comes to you, it comes as like a passion. It comes as a spark. In a way, it comes from a new place. It comes from things you haven't been thinking about, or maybe you were working on a problem and suddenly you walk away from the problem, and that solution comes, and it comes as like a total body experience practice. It's coming into your mind, but it's like it transcends the personality. It's like a drive. It's like how you feel when you're dancing. You're not thinking about it. So these downloads, as we call it, or lots of people out there call it, it comes beyond the process of ordinary thought, if that makes sense. It's like you sit down with a piece of paper at a table and you don't know what you're going to say, and suddenly you get an idea. So what's happening now is some of the ideas coming may not just be from the human realm. They may be from another realm. Yes, some people may say it's delusional, but if it makes sense, if maybe you're coming up with a new invention or a new way of describing feelings or a painting, it might be, in a way, it doesn't matter where it's coming from, but it's here for us to share in the human realm. Mm-hmm. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, well,
what are you saying?
I feel I agree with you, and I think that I feel like a lot more people are merging in this way, and they don't know what to do with the information. A lot of people are starting to see these synchronistic events where they are foreseeing events, and then they get all freaked out because they're foreseeing it, or they're receiving information that they already read, or sorry, they haven't read yet, and then they see it somewhere that they're reading. And it's only because we're now starting to access the DNA information. It's all within us. It seems like it's coming from outside, but it's really within us, just kind of reactivating and coming into our consciousness. So,
yeah. I think that's a really good point. It seems like it's a phone call from somewhere else, but it's an internal thing that's beyond the thinking mind. So that's why it's not coming from outside of it. We're just tapping into a new part of what's inside of us.
Right. Everything that's happening outside of us is happening inside, and vice versa. So, that's why people relate to downloads. They're like, oh, I don't want to be accessing myself to other, things or other beings. But the thing is that you're already connected to that information. It's already inside of you. It's just being reemerged. And that's why everyone gets something different, because they're connected to different parts of the universal information. So everyone has their own gifts, and everyone...
Yeah, I missed some of it. You kind of broke up there a little bit, but I think what you said was that I don't know if you said this, but what I got is as we evolve on our soul path, we start to expand our minds, because the mind, body, spirit are really one. So the expansion of the spiritual possibilities and expansion of the mind, with expansion of the DNA potential. And as we start to branch out of the boxes we put ourselves in, we have access to more information. That's sort of how I would...
Which the information resides within us. Yeah.
Right, but we can't access it until we expand into what is this bigger part that's inside of us.
That's right. And that's why a lot of people, that's why I feel like this whole movement with meditation and yoga and kundalini yoga, it's a big movement now. And it's only because we're trying to access our true selves, that information, that ancient self.
I'm sorry. I'm listening to you. I'm just trying to see us on my YouTube stream. So okay. I'm just seeing if it's as choppy on as it seems here, our conversation. But I think we are getting to the... I'm just seeing what kind of feedback we're also getting, because
do you have any...
I want to see what kind of questions people are asking, okay, as far as comments. And I'm just seeing if there's any live chats here. I'm not seeing anything on YouTube. But anyway, I think part of what the conversation here is how do people start to open up to what's calling downloads or the greater vibration, and what does they do with the information once they receive it. So I have some ideas about that, but what do you say?
1 second, Alan. I'm trying to actually add you to
Oh, you're trying to add me onto Facebook?
yeah.
Okay. If Van asks, Van asks, wait, I just had a message from Michael. Say, if Van asks, can we ask questions about predicting the future? I say yes, but the future is only possible from where you are now, and it's always changing. Or, as George Bush said, the future will be better tomorrow, which means we can ask a future, but okay. So I'm saying we can predict the future, but it's always changing in probability. So yes, you can get premonitions, and it's not 100%. That's not why the psychics don't win lotteries. What are your thoughts on organite and chemtrails? Do you have any good thoughts on chemtrails and organite?
Well, that's a whole nother.
Val?
Yeah, Alan, can you join me on Facebook or no?
Do you know what? What's that?
Can you join me on Facebook?
Facebook?
Yeah, I just added you.
You join me on Facebook. Okay, I'll go. But anyway, I'll do that. But can you answer what your thoughts on chemtrails and organite?
For me, okay, so he's trying to say that argonite might actually shoo away those chemtrails. I think it works. I mean, the thing is that we don't have to get crazy about it, because the more paranoid we are, the more we kind of bring it into our field and lower our vibration. So we want to stay in a high vibration. So if you can manage to kind of keep your vibration high with thinking, it's actually more powerful to think positive thinking than it is to have argonite in your house, to shoo away those chemtrails.
It's more powerful to have what you said than organite?
To have a positive outlook and vibration than actually to have the argonite, because you're giving away your power to the argonite, and rather than keeping that vibration high so that you may shoo away the chemtrails yourself.
Right. So organite's just like something that may or may not work, but what's more powerful is your thoughts, is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Let me just say, I also get a question. Are we living in a split reality? I would say, as far as Google Hangout, it's a split reality. No, I'm kidding. It's a joke. But yeah, we're actually more than split. It's fractured. We're only getting a small piece of what reality is as we, filter the world out through our personal beliefs and our dogmas and our religions and our politics. So it's more than split. It's like that small. What do you say, Val?
Yeah, I think it's like a spectrum, like a light spectrum, and we're one of the spectrums, and we're living out one of our lifetimes. I feel like we have many different lifetimes, and there really is no such thing as time per se, but we just kind of perceive it as time. Yes, we've had history books, and we can see into the future, but it's really all happening right now. So some people think like, oh, there's another me somewhere else having a better life.
Right.
But I think it's you didn't really think about that stuff. It's kind of
Someone also asks here, how do you get rid of family karma? Well, I'll answer that, and then you jump in. That is a hard job. That's actually probably the hardest thing we can do here. You have your own personal karma, but family karma is so deeply embedded within our thought form structure that you have to actually go into those painful places of family traditions. You have to see how much conditioning you have. You have to see how you're really more similar to your parents than you'd like to think. That's the hardest part. And you look at those beliefs and their beliefs, but karma also is a structuring belief. So you have to go in and consciously find those situations, I feel, that were part of your past, your family's past, your great grandparents' past, and recapitulate them, relive them, go into the pain of what it was like to have that karma, to have those disconnected feelings, to be abused, and all those painful parts, and feel them. I think you have to feel in order to heal. So that's part of it. I mean, people give 2-week workshops on how to get rid of family karma or more, lifetime workshops. So what do you think, Val?
That's it's funny. I did a whole show on this for karma, but to me, karma is reliving out relationships where we are basically being mirrored by what we've done in the past with them or something or other, where we have to relive the relationships and clear the relationship. And that comes with changing our patterns and our perceptions, which is all kind of handed down through the DNA as well as through conditioning, right? So the thing is, you kind of that's the purification process. It's kind of releasing and that junk DNA where we can actually transcend our relationships, and that's really what it's all about.
But the thing's all off a little bit. I'm talking to my technical director on the floor here.
Hello.
Micah. He just helped coordinate the videos on the expo. How'd it go?
It was great. Okay. Great. I'm about to leave, but it all went well.
So you're contacting the desert. I'm sorry, can you repeat that last point because I got distracted?
It's okay. So I was saying that basically karma is a clearing of relationships. Did you hear what I said? Because you're frozen, Alan.
What's that?
Okay, you froze. So it said that karma is a clearing of relationships.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And so the way we do that is deconditioning ourselves and releasing the programs that we've inherited through our DNA, because our DNA travels with us in each lifetime, which is the karmic tie.
Right. Yes. Yeah. No, I get that, and I think that's a part of the big work that you do. And a lot of great teachers do that kind of freeing, because actually your own karma, your own behavior, your family karmas, that's really what's in the way of living the divine life. I mean, that's the whole, and that clearing of that just gets us to a level playing field where then we can go and create and be the great beings that we're all meant to be. So that's part of the process, clearing it up, but you have to go into it. You can't ignore it. I spent years trying to go into my family stuff. I'm sure I still have more, but that's the process.
That's what makes us human.
Yes, we're humans having a human experience.
Yeah, that's what makes us human, and that's the difference between us and them. And they don't have karma. And because they operate from a high vibration, and so therefore they're transcending all the time. The only
who doesn't have karma? Who doesn't? You're saying?
ETs.
Oh, well, there might be ETs with karma. I mean, it could have.
In my experience, they don't, and the only way they can have the only karma that they have is with humans, not with each other.
I don't know. Maybe, but maybe the ones you met haven't had any. But
yeah,
I think the Greys probably do, because the Greys are trying to create, is my opinion, a hybrid race, and that is a result of their karmic actions of denying the physical and denying their capacities for emotion, and so they that out of them, and that was a karmic action they took that now is resulting in what they have to do now in order to create a new race of beings. So in a way, I would say that's a karmic action. That's okay. I have another question. I don't know how to get rid of karma. And then JJ Hurtak's opinion of Urantia. They're asking me. JJ Hurtak has his own teachings. I don't know if he refers to Urantia. He had an incredible experience, and that's why I like hanging out with him. He actually ignited the vibrations of his body and left this planet with his body and went to the higher realms. It's all laid out in the Keys of Enoch Book of Knowledge, and you can see his process. So when he came back, that wasn't a channel book. That was a huge download of being off planet for 3 days in the higher realms. And in a way, I prefer that over Urantia. I find Urantia a little dated. And have you ever looked at the Urantia book, Val?
I heard of it, yes, and I've seen I read a few things, but I never read the book. But I know of it. But I'm not so concerned about that stuff, because to me it's already outdated.
Someone asked what kind of experiences had Val had. You sort of went into that on our last show, but have you had any recent ET experiences?
The most recent one was when I went to Costa Rica, and that was in January. And so what happened there was that they were coming around with their UFOs, and they were downloading information to me every night. So
what kind of information were they giving you?
It was personal. It's like an agreement with them that I have. So I don't know if I'm ready to kind of exploit that yet.
You don't have to share your personal stuff. That's your personal karma stuff. We don't need to hear that. But
that's your personal stuff.
No, it's true. And I think that's part of getting what we've been calling downloads, is to actually help us through these karmic or life situations in order to get clear, to own the experience of situations and people we meet and things that come up in situations, and to help us, maybe not downloads from ETs, but from our higher self, of how do we navigate through the human dimension in the clearest, kindest, most self-reflective way possible, so for the benefit of all creatures. And sometimes, yes, we make mistakes or get reactive or want something from somebody, and that's where it gets messy, because we don't realize how self-contained we are. So that's what creates the human karma, and we learn from those situations, and hopefully can do it better next time, or next time we have an interaction.
Well, I'm on Facebook, and I was wondering if you guys have any questions. You can always ask. I don't know.
Yeah. These were on Facebook, you're saying? Because I'm getting these questions from Mike off of the stream, but I do have to wrap up.
Yeah.
We probably have to go.
Yeah.
Right? Is there anybody question?
Just last question for anyone.
Well, the question I have is for you, and I'll answer too. How can we make ourselves more available to the great cosmos that is pushing us in the direction of awakening?
So that's a big, lofty question. But
Okay.
I feel like whatever we're doing now is already pushing us in that direction. I feel like the more conscious we get, the more closer we are to the truth. And how do we get conscious? Basically, always go for the purity. So, if you have a choice,
Yes.
to drink alcohol, to not drink alcohol, don't drink the alcohol. I don't know, to eat something, a piece of fruit versus a cookie, eat the cookie. I mean, these are the simple examples, but a good example of just kind of becoming more mindful of what we're doing to our bodies, to our minds, to people around us. And that that will bring us closer.
I think you're talking about living the pure life in a way, and I think, yes, the more pure, I mean, not in some kind of dogmatic way, but simple things, like talking about people, gossip.
Yes.
Gossip lowers the vibration.
Lower vibration.
Whether you're spreading, and gossip may be true, but whether you're talking about someone who's not there, or you're listening to someone tell you a story about someone who's not there, that's still gossiping, and that is a lower vibration. And, I try to catch myself because it's such an easy habit to fall into. Oh, yeah, tell me about that. And it's just not, whatever someone has to say about someone else is probably none of your business or my business. So, and that really vibrationally lowers the frequency that gets in the way and creates karma, I think, all around.
Yeah, that's actually one thing I love about you, Alan, is that you don't gossip. I mean,
well, I have my moments, but yeah.
Well, you try to avoid it, and I also try to avoid gossip. It's it's the ego that wants to kind of engage into some sort of, oh, is that better than me? It's the judgment of the gossip is where's that fine line of where you don't want to cross, and it's so easy to cross once you start the gossip.
Yeah, it's so easy. Oh, did you hear what happened to that, or what this person said, or that? And part of you says, yeah, tell me, because you just want to be part of the conversation.
And then comes the gossip. And then comes the judgment, and then you judge.
And then comes the judgment. Yeah, well, it's not even judgment. Just listening to something that's, in a way, not your business. It's just infringement of the purity of the frequency we want to emanate. So that's a thing I want to do more of. And, and I think if we're all in that realm, because then we can hold everyone in the highest light, then the whole planet can move to a new vibration. Because it's so human to do that other stuff. So, thank you, Val, for being...
Thank you, Alan.
All right.
Yeah, next time we'll get a better signal.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I'll be in Mexico next week. So we'll do it next Tuesday.
Okay.
See how that goes. Tuesday. I will be on Kimberly Merritt's show tonight, KCAA Radio, 10:50 a.m. And 106.5 FM in LA. And I'm also talking at the Rama Institute at 8:30 live stream Rama TV. You can look at that there. What's coming for you?
Yep, I'm having an event at the Salt Cave, at Nature's Salt Cave in Cranford, New Jersey. It's pretty awesome. It's like Himalayan salts. It's in the evening at 7:30. You can check out my website or any of my social media. And then I also have Blossom Online coming up, and it starts March 1st. And you can go to valsecrets.com to check all that out.
Great. Sorry about the stream today. It's been a little off and on.
Yeah, hopefully these will get better. And But I'm going to Tokyo soon, so pretty soon we're going to be in time zones completely. So, but we'll still do it.
We could do it from Tokyo, you're saying, right?
Absolutely.
When are you going to Tokyo?
I'm leaving the 11th.
All right, we'll do it. We'll talk about that.
All right.
Thanks. I'll be in touch. Okay.
Alan, I miss you. I hope to see you soon. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.